Pupusas are a staple of Latin American cuisine since pre-Columbian times. It is the national dish of El Salvador. However, Hondurans also lay claim to the dish. Now, pupusas are flattened rounds of masa that are stuffed often with cheese, cooked on a griddle, and served with cortido, a slaw made of cabbage. And today, Dan's going to show us how to make them.
So pupusas are one of my favorite foods. They're so comforting and they're really fun to put together. So I'm excited to get into this one. And we're gonna start at the core of pupusas, which is masa harina. It starts with masa that is then dried out. Masa is made from corn that has been treated with an alkaline solution, and it transforms the corn. It makes it more kind of nutritionally available. It changes it and helps it gel so you can make tortillas out of it and everything like that. It is a marvel of indigenous science that we even have masa. So this is a really special product. And the dried version of it is really readily available. So that's what we're gonna work with. So I have 2 cups of masa harina. I'm gonna add half a teaspoon of salt. I'm just gonna whisk in this salt so that it's kind of nice and distributed. So now it's time for our water. Now a lot of times you see recipes that call for cool water or sometimes hot tap water. The hotter the water, as we find when we add it to bread doughs and things like that, the more it's able to absorb into the starch in the flour. And you get a dough that is oftentimes more hydrated, but easier to work with. And so we're gonna lean into that. We're actually gonna use boiling water in this recipe. So it's gonna basically allow us to do a 1-to-1 ratio. So we've got 2 cups of masa harina. We're gonna use 2 cups of water. It's gonna make it really nice and hydrated, but you see it won't be super tacky because we've heated that water up. And we're gonna do a few tricks throughout to make this just a little bit easier for a novice pupusa maker to work with a little bit more easily.
Okay.
So we're gonna add our hot water here. I'm also gonna add a teaspoon of veg oil, just a little bit of richness to it. And then I'm just gonna stir to combine. Doesn't that smell good?
It smells so good.
And that's a huge part of that treating with an alkaline process, that nixtamalization. It adds so much more flavor to it. The reason that like corn chips taste like anything or tortillas taste like anything is because of that really cool step. And then once I see no dry pockets, I will stop. It still has a little hydrating to do. About 20 minutes rest will really tighten it up even more. It's gonna be nicer to work with, a little less sticky. So I'm just gonna cover and set this aside. While that is resting, we can come over here and talk about our cheese. We're gonna kind of mimic a cheese that is traditionally used in El Salvador called quesillo. And if you can find quesillo, absolutely go for it. You're gonna look for 10 ounces of it. But we're gonna mimic it here with, starting with 2 ounces of cotija cheese, which is a Mexican cheese. It's salty, it's got really nice funk to it. It's a little bit drier. It's not a great melting cheese. I'm gonna use our food processor here to get it down to like a fine sand consistency. Takes about 20 seconds. This is gonna be like pebble it up.
Okay.
Great, so you can see we've got it down to fine sand consistency, but we need the meltiness. And for that, we're gonna go with Monterey Jack. It's super mild, but it's a young cheese, so it melts beautifully. And the combination is gonna be really nice. And we're gonna go for another 30 seconds till it looks kind of like a wet oatmeal mixture. Awesome, this looks perfect. It's gonna be really easy to form into balls, and then those are gonna be really easy to stuff into the pupusa. So that's what we're kind of helping ourselves out there. So I'm just gonna form this into 8 cheese balls.
These are just the portions of cheese that are gonna go into each pupusa.
Exactly. Yeah, it just makes life a little bit easier to have it completely done. They definitely don't need to be perfect. So we will finish up the rest of these. We'll have 8 cheese balls, and then it'll be time to move on to the next. So while our dough continues to rest and hydrate, we're gonna work on the cortido. So this is traditionally actual fermented preparation. But you see a lot of recipes that are more the quick pickle style, and that's what we're gonna do today. So we're gonna start with apple cider vinegar. I have a cup, I have a half a cup of water. A real classic pickling kind of mixture here. And then I've got a tablespoon of sugar for some sweetness and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And I'll just whisk this together. That's dissolved in there, ready to go. So what's so great about this cortido is, you know, pupusas are gonna be like cheesy, crispy, rich, and this is crunchy, acidic, just really that perfect balance to it. So we're gonna start with cabbage. I have a half a head of cabbage here. And what I like to do is take out the core first here. So you can just pop that out like that. I like to peel it into kind of manageable slices that you can flatten.
That's what I like to do.
That's always the name of the game. Flat surface stability is so key. This way you can really flatten it down, and then I just like to go to town on it. You don't have to go this thin, you can go thicker. This is such a strong mixture, it'll totally soften it. It's not a big deal at all. Beautiful, so we've got our cabbage. Transfer this right over to our beautiful pickling liquid.
Nicely done.
Next up we have an onion. We're gonna do the same thing here. We want nice thin slices.
I notice you're going with the onion grain.
Yeah, I like it. You could definitely go either way here. You know, we're not cooking it, so I'm not trying to get it to fall apart. I want a little bit more bite to it. Keeping it pole to pole this way, have a little bit more integrity, which is nice.
Also prettier.
Yeah, I agree.
Nicely done, sir.
Thank you. Transfer this over here as well. Next up, we're gonna do a little carrot for some nice color and crunch. For that, I'm going to do a nice little shred on it.
Okay.
Makes quick work of it. That goes into our bowl. Beautiful color. And then finally, veg-wise, the jalapeno. And we want it stemmed and seeded. We don't want it to be too spicy. Obviously, if you want more spice, add the ribs, add the seeds. I'm gonna try and take off the skin and a little bit of the ribs, but leave all the other stuff on the inside.
Like you would a bell pepper, I see people do that with. I've actually
Exactly.
never seen anyone do this with jalapeno. This is fun to watch.
Then you can lay it down in this last cut here.
Huh.
And take that off. So
I really like that method.
that's your spicy core right there. So as much as you want, you can mince up and throw that in there. So we're just gonna mince this. I really like to do a drag cut through it because they'll stay in lines as opposed to like moving all over the place with your knife. And do your cross cuts.
Very nicely done.
Into the bowl. Thank you. All right, so the final addition at this point is a teaspoon of dried oregano. It's a really key component of a cortido.
Okay.
We're just gonna stir this, make sure it's all nice and evenly distributed. This is gonna go into the fridge for at least 1 hour or up to 24 hours. Okay, it is time for the assembly portion of this recipe, which I really love. So if you watch Salvadoran cooks do this, who have done this their whole lives, it's really, really fast and it's all done by hand. You grab some masa, you put the cheese in, you fold it around it, you pat it out, and you have these beautiful pupusas. If you're not as practiced with it, it can help to have a few things to kind of guide you.
That makes sense.
And so we're gonna do that here today. This is a gallon Ziploc bag. You can use a quart one as well. And we're gonna make a 4-inch circle on it. I'm just using a bowl that happens to be 4 inches in diameter and a permanent marker here. And I'm just gonna draw right around it.
So you're making a template for how you're gonna press out the masa.
Exactly. And at the same time, you know, we have this bag that we can open up, but we want it to be a lot easier to work with. So I'm actually gonna take off this top here, the little zipper lock. And then I'm gonna slit the sides as well. We're gonna keep the bottom attached. All right, there we go.
A little bit of arts and crafts involved.
Yeah, not my forte, arts and crafts. Now I'm gonna flip this over. You wanna make sure that this is nice and dry before you put it on your countertop.
Yes.
Don't want any permanent marker on there. You flip it over. On the underside, it's not gonna touch the food at all. So now let's take a look at our dough here. Now this is rested and it's pretty much all the way there. We're gonna knead it for about 15 to 20 seconds. You can see it's a little crumbly. It's gonna come together. So I'm just gonna knead it right here in the bowl. And you can see some wet spots and some dry spots.
Yeah.
You wanna get that all kind of incorporated.
That dough looks beautiful.
Yeah, so this feels really good to me, but there's a nice check that we can do to make sure that we have the right hydration level. I'm just gonna make kind of a golf ball sized piece here and press it down until it's about a 1/4 inch thick. And if I have really big cracks, like 1/4 inch cracks, I'm gonna add a little more moisture to it. And I do have some decent sized ones. So I'm gonna add a little bit, kind of 2 teaspoons at a time until you get to the place you want. I think this probably just needs 2 teaspoons.
Okay.
Beautiful. So you can see we have a tiny little crack there, but for the most part, it's totally smooth.
Okay.
So we're good to go. What we're gonna do is divide this into 8 pieces. Just gonna cut this in half. And then with the 2 sides, I just find it easiest to shape them into a little log so I can really see what I'm doing.
It's still warm.
And it feels nice, right?
Oh yeah. This is like a spa treatment.
And then once you get there, you know, you're just going right down the center and then down the center of each of those. And that's how you get 8 equal pieces out of it. Roll those into balls. Awesome, so we're gonna cover this with a damp towel. Want to keep them nice and moist. Back to our beautiful template here. I'm gonna take 1 ball, goes right inside, kind of center it in that circle there. This goes over the top.
I love this method, so you can really see what you're doing.
And we're using a pie plate so you can see right through it, right? So that's nice too. Like a tortilla press is wonderful for this, but you don't get to see what you're doing exactly. So I love this. And then we're just pressing it out kind of slowly here.
No cracks.
It's nice and flexible. The starch is in really good shape. We're gonna take one of our cheese balls, and then it's really simply bringing it up, almost like if you're forming a dumpling.
I was just thinking that.
Yep, and I just get it right around there and then pinch close. It's a very forgiving dough. The idea is to just really pinch around it, smooth it out, and then once you get into a good shape, you're gonna start rounding. And would you mind grabbing that water again?
Sure.
So this is a really nice key too, is just get a little bit of water on there. It helps you totally smooth that outside, because if it's smooth here, when we press it again, we're not gonna have cracks. This looks beautiful. So we go right back into our form here, put this over the top. I find if you press a little slower, you get less cracking.
Wow, that is fun to watch a pupusa come together like that.
Isn't it? Then you can take your fingers, you know, if there's any little cracks, you can seal them up like that. But that is a gorgeous cheese-filled pupusa.
Beautiful.
So that goes back on the tray here. We'll keep that covered and we'll finish up our 8 and then we'll be really close to eating. It is time to cook. I have a 12-inch nonstick skillet here. I have a teaspoon of oil and I've been heating this over medium-high heat. The teaspoon of oil is really just there to absorb heat so we're not dry heating a nonstick skillet, which is not good.
Right.
And it's a good visual indicator. We can see that it's shimmering, so that's awesome. I'm gonna use some paper towels to wipe the skillet out. Now, you can cook pupusas in oil, and you can cook them in a dry skillet, like a comal or a griddle. You get really different results. And you'll see when you have a dry skillet, you get a little spotty browning. You get more of this kind of popcorn toasty flavor to it. Whereas if you have the oil in there, you get more of a fried texture and flavor. So it's what you want, but we really like the spotty brown and that kind of richness that you get from that. We did nice small pupusas. These are 4 inches, and it makes it really easy to add 4 to a skillet here.
Nice.
So we're gonna go in here. These are gonna cook for about 2 to 4 minutes aside. We're looking for spotty brown and nice melty cheese on the inside.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna flip these now. You can see I got a little bit of cheese coming out of this one. But I actually like that, when a little cheese, oh, look at that beautiful browning.
Ooh.
That cheese gets really flavorful, so I don't mind if I have a little bit of a drip on the side. All
Those are
right.
beautiful.
We're gonna let these go for another 2 to 4 minutes until that second side is nice and brown and the cheese inside is melted. So it's been about 3 minutes on the second side, and I can smell really nice browning, and I can see really nice browning. So
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. So I'm gonna get our other 4 out to our platter.
I know what this means.
What does it mean?
It means it's getting closer to my plate.
It's getting very close to your plate.
I'm eager to taste
Beautiful.
these. Those are beautiful.
So the final component is our cortido. I drained it so we got off some of that liquid so it doesn't sog things out. And then we've got a cup of minced cilantro.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, but it's gonna add so much nice freshness to it. And we'll just toss this to distribute that cilantro.
Oh, the smell of the cilantro, the fresh smell of the pupusas. You can smell that toasted masa.
So good, right?
I'm so ready.
And then a little cortido. And we've got this lovely quick salsa.
And you can find that recipe on our website. That is a beautiful plate.
So many colors and textures. It's so dynamic.
All right. Think if we break it open, we'll get the cheese pull?
Oh, we're gonna get the cheese pull.
All right. I kind of want to just do this.
Just get in there and cheese pull.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. That's awesome.
Yes. Ah. All right.
I'm gonna dig in. Yeah. So that Monterey Jack gives you that beautiful stretch, and you'll see that cotija is really flavorful.
All right, a little curtido, a little salsa. That toasted flavor of the masa and that cheese is perfection.
It's so good, and it's super moist dough because we added, we were able to add so much more water to it than you normally would see.
It's a simple combination of flavors, but they are so perfect together. Salsa's nice, but this curtido is where it's at. I love how finely you shredded the cabbage. Also, that little bit of vinegar, a little bit of brightness.
Yeah, it's just perfect balance.
Dan, these are delicious, and thank you for breaking down exactly how to make pupusas.
My pleasure.
So if you want to make pupusas, start by making fresh masa using masa harina and boiling water. Use a combination of cotija and Monterey Jack cheese for the filling, and cook them in a dry nonstick skillet. From America's Test Kitchen, a foolproof recipe for pupusas con cortido. Thanks for watching America's Test Kitchen. What'd you think?
Well, leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or you can just say hello.
You can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
I'll see you later.